So let's call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good evening, everyone. Before we get to our first agenda item, I'd like to make a brief announcement. Tonight will be the first recorded council meeting in Horsham Township. For several years, council has been contemplating recording meetings to enhance the public's ability to keep updated on township meetings. Our goal was to be as transparent as possible and encourage our residents to participate as more decisions are made that will affect our quality of life here in Horsham. We decided to wait until the new building was erected and new audiovisual technology was put in place. Unfortunately, when the pandemic hit, we had to put this project on hold for budgetary reasons. This year, we gave Mr. Gadeo Walker the go-ahead to proceed, and after one practice round, we are ready to go. So please bear with us as we get accustomed to doing this. Hopefully, there will be few, if not any, technical difficulties. Once we get the recordings back from the videographer, it will be uploaded onto the township website and the YouTube channel for future viewing. So with that being said, and by way of introduction, I'll go around the room. I'm Mark McCouch, President of Horsham Council. To my right is Bill Whiteside, Vice President. To my left, Gregory Nesbitt, Treasurer. To my far left, we have Veronica Hill Milbourne as our Secretary. To my right, further right, we have Bill Gallagher as our Parliamentarian. All the way down to the left, we have Mary Eberle as our solicitor. There's Dennis. Dennis is over there at the end. He's our assistant manager. Eric Garton next to him is our engineer, township engineer. And the one and only Bill Gadeo Walker is our township manager. So welcome everybody to this first meeting. Welcome the audience. Welcome the people at home. Let's get rolling. So the first item is to recognize the township resident, Trish Lawler. Bill, you have a few words you'd like to say?
Sure. So we have in our society, since I've been alive, we have in our society is trash and litter. And, years, and it's just not Horsham, it's around the world, not just the United States either. But it's a societal problem. And before we became a more suburban metropolitan community in the 1990s, our public works in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, they had the time to go and actually walk the roads in Horsham and pick up all the trash along the sides of the road that our street sweeper doesn't get. Our street sweeper only picks up what's on the black asphalt. Anything that hits the grass usually stays. So when we, in the 1990s, the county, Montgomery County, implemented a program. Instead of sending DUI offenders to jail, they used DUI offenders to go around the county to local municipalities and pick up trash along the roadsides. Unfortunately, in the 2008, when the recession hit, that was one of the budget cuts that the county had to implement, and that program went away in 2008. And since 2008, there hasn't really been anything. You hope the property owners pick up the trash that's in front of along the roadway in front of their homes, but that doesn't happen all the time. So then we have super volunteer residents like Trish Lawler, and she's here with us this evening to be recognized. And Trish has been a longtime resident, over 30 years in Horsham Township. Her parents moved out of Philadelphia to Horsham when she was in college, and she has stayed in Horsham, and she's now retired, a former federal government employee, but retired now with her wife, Sherry, and her siblings sitting behind her, and they're both Horsham Township residents. So the family has stayed in Horsham, and we appreciate that. But Trish started walking after she retired, and started walking, and she lives in our Wyndmere Downs neighborhood, and she started walking around the township and more, and then she noticed a lot of trash along the roads that she walked, and it really bothered her. So she started picking it up. As she walked, she would bring a bag. And it started simply down at Downey Drive in Limekiln Pike, where there's a small wooded section, and she started there, and then started expanding. Herman Road, Babylon Road, and she sometimes will be out for a couple hours before she comes home with 5 bags of trash. So, and she's even gone as far as picking up trash along Norristown Road and Welsh Road, with putting her life in jeopardy. But, it's amazing when you have volunteers like this in the community that truly care about what her town looks like, and she's addressing it. She's volunteering, and she's taking her time to go out and pick up trash along the roadways. And it just means a whole lot, and it just shows how and what a community that we are, and the people and residents that we have in our community, and how special they are, and how much they care about Horsham. So we're here tonight to thank Trish and honor Trish for all the hours that she's putting in. We are talking with Trish to see how we can expand, make a township program out of this. If you many of you know, PennDOT has a program where you can adopt a highway, and for 2 miles, and you get your name on a sign, and for 2 miles, you can adopt a PennDOT highway, but you have to go out so many times a year and collect the trash along the roadways. Usually it's companies that adopt the highways, but I told Trish that, we will sit down with her and talk with her to see about a similar program, and getting children more involved too. The thing is safety out there on the roads. You have to be careful. But if we can implement, if you can get the kids, early on, you can change them as they become adults, so they care. And about this trash situation, as we talked about, it's never probably going to go away, unfortunately. But if we have more and more people that care about it and pick up after it, it doesn't end up in our creeks. The one thing that we try to teach the kids right now, and we've been doing it for years now, is the inlets that we see along the roads. A lot of the time the kids think it goes to some treatment plant and gets all cleaned. It goes right to our creeks. So all of that trash that finds its way into the inlets and the storm pipes gets eventually into the creeks and down to the Delaware River and into the ocean. So we caught the kids early on about that, but so we'll work with Trish. We also are going to work with Trish on helping pick up the bags of trash that she collects. I don't think Trish should be paying for her own personal trash hauler to pick up the bags of trash that she picks along the road. So we're going to work with her on a spot where she can leave, and we'll coordinate with her, and our Public Works Department will come get the trash. So that's what we're here tonight, to just thank Trish for everything she's doing for us.
I just wanted to say you've certainly set an example for what a good resident is in any township, and I hope that you set the bar for other people that will come out and participate. And this is like a great meeting, like, since it's being recorded and be put on the television for later. I hope people watch and they see what you've done. And they do go out and like Bill said, they'll come in and volunteer and try to set that bar even higher. And you've started it, and that's a great accomplishment, and we can't thank you enough. So we do have absolutely. We do have a proclamation for you that we'll be giving to you tonight. Be it proclaimed that Trish Lawler and her family are longtime Horsham Township residents. Trish and her wife Sherry have owned a home on Oxford Circle for over 30 years. And once retired, Trish began taking frequent walks through the township in her free time, picking up any trash she encountered along the way. This started in a wooded area near the intersection of Downey Drive and Limekiln Pike, where Trish noticed a small accumulation of litter, but quickly expanded over the last few years. Trish typically walks through her neighborhood, hitting all the side streets on the way, and even drives out to other neighborhoods off Welsh Road as well as Norristown Road. It is not uncommon for Trish to be out for a couple of hours, filling 5 large trash bags during each trip. As a Horsham Township resident, Trish Lawler is deeply ingrained in the betterment of our neighborhoods. Her unbounded energy, passion, and commitment embody the heart of our community, and we are honored to recognize the time and effort she's contributed to make Horsham Township a great place to live, work, and visit. Again, thank you so much for your time, your effort, and setting that bar for others. Congratulations. Now it's your turn. If you'd like to say a few words, you can, from the mic so that they can hear it.
No, it's not on. You just have to press that one
Press the
on.
button.
Where you see,
I told you there'd be glitches.
As if this wasn't embarrassing enough. Thank you very much. I did this from the bottom of my heart. I love this neighborhood. I love my neighbors, and I feel that most of my neighbors have become energized by seeing that it's cleaner where it is, and I would like to get more people involved, and I thought specifically about the kids, and that's why I was talking to Bill a little bit about that earlier, because I remember that commercial. This will date me, but the Indian with the teardrop coming down when he was looking at trash on the roadways, well, that was me, and that is me today, and I as a kid, it always affected me. So if we can do it and we can keep our neighborhoods cleaner, I think it just instills pride in the neighborhood, and if people have pride in their property, it's going to keep our property values high, it's going to keep our neighborhoods cleaner, and hopefully people more engaged. And I would like to continue to be engaged. So however I can help, I'm volunteering. I will give hours to you if you can set things up. If you want to tell me areas that need attention, I'll drive there and pick up trash over there, because our neighborhoods are pretty clean now. So thank you. So thank you again. Thanks.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Very nice.
Trish.
Very nice. So if you'd like to come up here, I'll give you this proclamation. We have a couple of gifts for you. A new pair of gloves. And a safety vest, because we want you to be safe out there. So come on around.
Sherry was afraid for me, and Christmas bought me a reflective vest so that I wouldn't get hit on Norristown Road. This is great. Wow. Okay.
Everybody gather in. This is great, no mask. This is awesome. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Great, okay.
No Penn State Pyramid, Bill? I always do the Penn State Pyramid. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks you so much. My pleasure, my pleasure.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice meeting you again. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is an opportunity for questions and comments from the public. Do we have any questions, comments? Yes, ma'am. You'll have to come up to the microphone. And please leave your name and address for the minute.
What?
It's fine.
We should probably lower it.
Oh, okay. My name's Sean McLaughlin. I live at 1168 Lime Kiln Pike, just a few blocks down. And I have a question about the Toll Brothers development that is currently underway in an area that actually abuts my property. I think it takes over maybe 500 acres. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
500 homes.
500 homes, thank
Yep.
you, thank you.
200 and some acres, I think.
Okay, thank you. My question is, Understanding that Horsham Township currently does not have an ordinance that regulates this, has Toll Brothers promised the township any, I guess, a maximum amount of hours that they would work each day, as well as a maximum number of days each week that they would be working? Does any,
Yeah, good.
Hey, Mayor.
There's in there, they signed a development agreement with the township outlining the terms and it is outlining the terms and conditions under which they'd construct the project. And it's not a maximum number of days or a maximum number of hours, but they can't start before, I think it's 7 o'clock in the morning, and they have to end by 7 o'clock at night. So it's not a maximum number of days or a maximum number of hours. It's not working while people are normally sleeping.
Yeah.
I can check that during the meeting if you want to stay for a couple of minutes and let you know exactly what the terms are. Sometimes there's an exclusion on Sundays and sometimes there's not.
Yeah, and I think Saturdays are 8 a.m. and no work on Sundays.
and is that in part of an agreement that they have
Yeah, and
signed?
that's normal for any contractors working in the township.
Okay, thank you.
That's anyone, yeah.
Thank you. So it's 8?
It's 7 a.m.,
7 to 7 every day?
You
or
just slipped me a
no,
piece
Monday
of-
through
Monday
Friday.
through Friday?
And then Saturdays starting at 8 a.m. and then no work on Sundays.
Okay, and then they finish?
Sundays, they had to get a special permission from the township if they have to work on Sundays. They had to have a special reason if they're behind because of snow or we got hit by a flood or something like
And
that.
do the residents have any notice of this, if they do get this exemption or special exception?
No.
No, okay. And, thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you. Oh,
You can do it right up there.
yeah,
You know.
I've already contacted, I guess a man from Toll Brothers, and I'm waiting for him to get back to me, so.
Is there a problem or concern, Sean?
Well, I just hope that the hours are within the reasonable, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Next is the approval of our list of checks. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the list of checks and all funds in the amount of $237,292.58 and further move to authorize payment of the same.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next is the zoning hearing board review bill. We have 4 of them today.
You do have 4 of them. 3 of them are residential and 1's commercial. Your first one, the applicant is proposing to construct a 18-foot by 28-foot, which is 504 square feet, in-law suite addition on their property. Their property is located at 917 Herman Road, which is in our R3 zoning district. So the relief that they're looking for, if you look at what I have on the screen, this is the addition that they're looking to put on the home, the 504 square foot addition. And it's impervious coverage relief that they're looking for. They are permitted by ordinance to have 20% impervious coverage. They have 20% existing, and if they allow the relief for the in-law suite, they would be at 22.5% impervious coverage.
That falls within the range that we normally would allow, correct?
Yes, it does.
Anybody have any objections? Okay, let it go. What's the next one?
The next application is at 910 Rutledge Avenue. The applicant is proposing an addition, a 14-foot by 22-foot addition, which is 308 square feet. It's a roof over an existing deck on their property. They too are in our R3 zoning district. So if you look here, this is their existing deck back here. And what they would like to do is put a roof over this existing deck. So they need relief, zoning relief in 2 areas to do that. One is impervious coverage. They are allowed by ordinance to have 20% coverage. Existing is 20.88%. And if they get the relief that they need for the roof, they'd be at 22.41%. The second relief is rear yard setback. The ordinance requires a 50-foot rear yard. They're currently at 61.6 feet, and if they are granted the roof, they will be at 47.6 feet.
What was the code say?
For the impervious?
setback, for the
Oh, the
setback.
setback, 50 feet,
50, okay.
All they're doing is putting a roof over an existing deck,
correct.
Which is already,
which is already in the setback, isn't it?
Yeah, but decks aren't permanent structures. Roofs are. Yes.
anybody have any objection to this one? Okay, we'll go neutral on that one. The next one on Eugenia Road?
The next one is 612 Eugenia Road. The applicant, well, let me pull it up here. Before I keep- So the applicant is proposing the construction of a 15-foot by 21-foot rear patio, which is 315 square feet, and 375 square feet of walkway on their property. They too are in our R3 zoning district. You can see this diagram here. This would be the patio here, and then where I'm following, this would be the walkway here. They will need relief for impervious coverage. The ordinance that they allowed 20%. They're currently at 22.6%. If they proceed with the patio and the walkway, they would be at 30.5%. And I believe the applicant is here this evening.
There we go. Hi, good evening. Rob Lewis from Kaplan Stewart. I'm actually counsel for the applicant to answer any questions that the board might have. I don't know if you want to have a discussion first or have a couple of comments from me. It's up to you. I know that based on the prior two applications that you saw, the board tends to be, or council tends to be comfortable with a little bit of leeway for your individual residents, and that on paper, this would appear to exceed kind of that standard comfort zone. What I would like to put in council's mind here and would intend to present to the zoning hearing board is this is not your standard R3 lot. If you've been back on Eugenia, which is traditional R3 with, I think the minimum lot size for R3 is 20,000 or
32,000.
32,000 square feet, yeah, or 32,000 square foot lots. This is merely an 8,700 odd square foot lot, not created by these applicants. These are first-time homeowners, born and raised in Montgomery County, moved back after college. This is their first home. When they bought the home, they had no idea that the home itself, as it sat, as it was constructed, actually already exceeded the minimum of 20% impervious coverage in the R3 district. So if they wanted to put a paver stone down with their name on it, they technically need a variance from you. They have zero impervious coverage, and all they are really looking to do here is a modest patio on the back to have some use of outdoor space on their yard. What I did in the addendum to give you a sense of it was to compare, and you kind of heard some of it tonight, compare and contrast a normal R3 lot and the various percentages. And for instance, an R3 lot having 32,000 square feet of typical yard size would be permitted a total impervious coverage of about 6,400 square feet, still under the threshold, which gives you ample room for a very nice home, driveways, etc., patios, outdoor living spaces. This home currently only occupies 2,000 square feet of footprint with their driveway and so forth. And by the way, the driveway, while it can fit side-by-side vehicles, which I think is code required, they actually only have a single-car garage. So this is not an oversized home by any stretch of the imagination. By adding on their two phases of impervious coverage, they're only still at 2,708 square feet of total impervious coverage on this lot. Compare that, obviously, to a standard R3 lot that could go up well over 6,000. While we understand that it is a significant increase over the 20%, we certainly believe it's what's reasonable to make a reasonable use of an R3 home. And so I just wanted to come tonight to put that in council's mind, because I don't think it necessarily presents itself just looking at the numbers on paper.
what size is the patio again?
The initial patio, I believe, is about 300 square feet. And there's some very nice drawings that were prepared by the landscape contractor. And so their first phase, they wanted to simply build the patio. And then the second phase is to connect that patio to where you can see the car And that ends up being another 370 square feet, I think, to get to the car.
Can you go back to that a second? I want to see where you're
And there's an example that shows you the
I'm gonna
entirety
try
of
to
the.
get it.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that's
the initial.
correct.
And Bill, can you go back to the other slide for a second? The drawing. So you're saying that section to the left is the additional?
There's actually another slide. If we keep going, it'll show you financially they can only afford to do it in two phases. So they're hoping to construct phase one immediately and then connect it in a couple years when they have the financial ability to do so. So phase one, again, just some different views from, and still phase one.
Phase one is going to put you at the 30.5, or is that the total?
The total gets to 30.
What would phase one get you to?
Phase one would end up being, I think so it would be roughly 2,400 square feet total. And I did not calculate the percentage, probably about 25%, 26%.
Diagram, is that just phase one?
This is
The
entirety.
previous-
This is the
No,
entirety here.
The slide before. That one, is
That
that
is-
phase one?
That is phase one, correct.
So what percentage of the proposed square footage does that make? What percentage of the proposed square footage does that make up?
About 50%. It's about 50-50 between the patio itself and then the connector to the driveway.
Having a connector all the way from the driveway to that patio, which gets you to 30%.
Correct.
That's coming.
Which you'll
Phase
see in
two.
the next slide here. So now you can still see the original patio and then the connector that would be landscaped as well around to the driveway. There you go. That's the artist rendering.
Where the grill is here, all this would be new impervious coverage around phase two.
Correct. You know, and because if you simply put down stepper stones and what have you, it's certainly not going to look as nice. I think technically under your ordinance would require the variance. And so they don't want to do anything improper and certainly don't want to do anything without the appropriate permissions.
Right, and we certainly love working with homeowners to get things done. We understand everybody needs, to live and enjoy their house and their yard. 30% is really high.
May I ask a question on that?
Sure.
Excuse me for not having checked it, but under your ordinance, a minor impervious coverage addition of this magnitude, will it typically require for the building permit stormwater management controls?
Not for just the square footage
And-
alone, forgetting about lot size, just the square footage. by itself.
So my suggestion here might be to council, that if council was willing to remain neutral, that since it otherwise would not require us to install stormwater management, that maybe we do some rain gardens and some other ways to capture that stormwater to really give an incentive to maybe make an exception in this case.
If we were to go neutral, it would certainly be with some restrictions or with some conditions. Again, so real quick, though,
That was quick.
so we're 30% of the total, and they're kind of set on doing that sidewalk basically going back.
They certainly think it'd be a wonderful way to enjoy the patio. You know, friends come over to visit, you want to just sit out on the back patio. They can simply walk from the driveway to the rear patio. It's probably going to be the standard path, and it's either going to get beat in by feet and so forth, people going that way, or they can do it the right way, landscape it, and put in the actual formal walkway. It's certainly what they envisioned when they moved here in terms of fixing up this home and really making it their home where they want to stay and raise a family.
Bill, I know you, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I have a question is for Bill. What is the maximum that we've allowed to exceed?
Historically, council is, with no conditions, 23, about 3% over what's allowed, with no conditions. And usually after that, when you get into 4 or 5% over is when you get into a stormwater control feature, sometimes as a condition. but it's rare where council, is neutral with over 5%. It's rare. It has happened, but it's rare.
The issue in that neighborhood too is we do get some flooding issues right in that area. So, that's a bit of a concern. When we start allowing these, and I understand the lot, I get it. I mean, I sympathize with that because it's such a small lot. And obviously, they didn't know that when they moved in.
They did not.
So I don't know how you feel, Eric or Bill, about if we go neutral to some degree with conditions on some kind of stormwater management, if there's a way to capture that to allow them with a little higher percentage, and if there's a way to maybe cut down the size of the patio a little bit, and some way to kind of get us into a medium.
I can certainly work with Giordano Landscaping and the homeowners and try and, if nothing else, maybe we can take a foot off the walkway, in terms of its width because that entire run, you take off of a foot.
A lot.
It ends up being a significant amount of impervious. So I'm assuming that Phil Giordano made that either a 4 or 5 foot width for ADA purposes, but it's not required to be ADA compliant. So if we can shave that down a little bit, that certainly saves some space and probably end up using that space to gather stormwater if the board council agrees to remain neutral.
Before I could be neutral on this, I'd actually like Eric or someone from your office to go out and tell us exactly what they could do to make a difference here. If there's significant stormwater management that they could do, then I'd be willing to be neutral.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this.
I wouldn't want to just put on a
Off the
condition
top
that
of my head,
says,
yeah.
oh, you have to do something. I'd want to know what it is first.
I've worked with Eric, and my firm has for so many years that we would even accept the broader condition that stormwater management to the satisfaction of the township engineer. Something to that effect would certainly be acceptable to our side because I trust Eric in terms of implementing your ordinances and your concerns.
Is there any time sensitivity here?
More or less just the contractor being ready to go and the homeowners trying to, in some way, shape, get some 2021, but it's not urgent in that sense. If you needed us to come back, have Eric take a look at it, and then us come back, then I'll certainly come back.
Bill, usually before it gets to us, there's been the feedback that 30% is usually a no-fly zone for us, and usually what happens then is the homeowner hears that, and then they start to make some concessions on the plan so that we see a plan that might be a little lesser than what they originally applied for, with the understanding that they might get some negative feedback. Was that communicated to the homeowner?
Yes, it was a cordial conversation between our code enforcement staff and the homeowners. They worked with them. They gave them many, I would say not many, but all the options they could think of, from taking the sidewalk out to putting a mulch trail sidewalk in to converting the brick patio to a deck. A deck is not considered an impervious in Horsham. So they reviewed all different types of options, from changing their design to using different materials to reducing what's existing. And they did not choose any of those options. They weren't, in a very cordial manner, but this is what they would like to do.
And to that point, they certainly did. They got both the contractor and the homeowners relayed to me that they had gotten some good information from the township. I'm here more than anything because I'm good friends with the homeowners and their parents, longtime friends of ours. So we had discussed the matter. They had no idea the entire process whatsoever. They simply hired Giordano Landscaping, who's reputable, and Giordano had put together the plan, and et cetera. And I happen to know them all. And I told them, look, this is where you are. You need to have somebody that at least knows the process a little bit, try and help you out, file your application, and then come to council. If we get to the zoning hearing board, wonderful, but we needed to come to council first. So I explained to them that general process, and that's why I'm here. I'm not retained. I am not being paid for my services. Their budget, I'm sure, would not have had that.
I'm sure they appreciate that. And, I kind of like Bill's comment. It wouldn't be a bad idea if we could push this back a little
Sure.
and have the engineer address, go out and look at it, take a look, maybe talk to him again, relay back our thoughts, our feelings on this about trying to reduce maybe the footprint a little bit, just to kind of get us back closer to the number we need to be at.
That'd be great.
Again, I sympathize with the situation, and, we see it all the time.
Yeah.
And most times people are unaware, but we do have to be concerned about, the water and the flooding, and especially in that area.
And to the
So-
extent zoning has it precedent, I know, but you don't want to set an example that every other homeowner now feels 30% is the threshold. So
Right.
I'm happy to meet with Eric on site, and we'll take a look at the plans and see what we can do.
Circle
and
back
come
to us and the staff, and then we'll go from there.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Rob, there need to, you or
Extension.
then, yeah,
Yeah.
continuance. And
No
then you'll be
problem.
back in front of council the fourth Monday of June.
Excellent. Thank you again.
Good luck. Yep. Okay, last one is workspace.
Workspace, they are here for signage. So they are looking to, and this is just a map, and I have another slide that actually shows the signage, but they are proposing to construct 5 new development signs on 5 separate parcels under the common ownership of Workspace Property Trust. 4 of the properties are within the Business Park District, and 1 property is within the Business Park District Mixed Use Overlay District. And this evening is Eric McHugh from Workspace and Matt Carson from Carson City Sign, which is also in Horsham Township. Eric, it's all yours.
Good to see everybody. Thanks for having us. Thanks for having a meeting in person. Not only did you give me a reason to put on a sports jacket for the first time in about a year, but this just works a little bit better than the Zooms and calls
Absolutely.
and whatnot, so it's great to be here. As we in Horsham and in business parks across the country start to emerge from the pandemic, we wanted to welcome our existing tenants back to their buildings and kickstart our marketing efforts to new tenants with some fresh new signage. Our in-house marketing team and Horsham's own signage expert, Matt Carson at City Signs, have created some exciting designs to enhance the admittedly sleepy stone walls with 1980s lettering on them and bring them into the next generation. These displays are going to include a diverse number of images that are going to be rotated on a regular basis. These pictures that you see up here are not fixed. We're going to constantly change them. We talked with Bill about including some images from Horsham events and, Horsham residents and that sort of stuff. The idea is to keep it constantly moving. So the intent here is to hit the main entrances to the business park with a nice splash and really update everything. So I'll turn it over to Matt with the details on the signs, and hopefully you'll allow us to proceed.
Again, thank you for your time. That was really nice, that little presentation you had for one of your, I guess I should say, our fellow residents. It's nice.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna.
Sorry about that. I'm usually a little loud, so I figured I was trying to brace everybody. Nonetheless, I could say a lot. I don't want to go too far into it. I'd rather address any questions you have, but I would like to mention that the sign package, these 5 signs, they're all existing. They're all in the field. They're all very, very antiquated. The idea, and I think, I think the main crux of this is the sign right now says Pennsylvania Business Campus. The new name is Pennsylvania Lifestyle Campus. It really is a rethinking of what the campus, some of the amenities that the campus now has. It's not just warehouse space or office space. There's a lot of different nooks and crannies that are within the park now. The idea here is that these images are going to be, at a quick glance, as someone goes past, they're going to be able to see that. They're going to be able to appreciate some of the things that we have, the running trails. These are just, again, clip art that we have in there, but some of the different themes that the park has, that the accommodations that the park can foster. The reason we're here is because the ordinance, although these signs exist, the ordinance, what it allows for didn't really give us the opportunity to convey the pictures. There's not a lot of words on the signs, it's just pictures. And the hardship really is that when we went out with our tape measure and prints, the marketing agent and I, we couldn't get anything that could really be seen, even the fact that these are all at traffic lights. It was just too small to really convey that feeling of what it is. Again, all of the signs, this sign is existing out there now in the field. This is really just a refurbishment, just freshening it up, giving it a little bit of a fresher look, something more in line with the Pennsylvania Lifestyle Campus. It's now not just a business campus, but there's a couple different things going on here that we're trying to convey in the pictures. So, I mean, really, that's the main reason we're here. We did try to work with Bill and his team to see if we could get the desired elements on the sign within the square footage, and it didn't really work. So we feel that this is the smallest, shapes and configurations that we can still get the images out there and hopefully have some folks coming past that can see that and appreciate it. Signs right now are non-illuminated. They're illuminated currently with external lights. They'll continue to be illuminated as such. Heavy-duty, non-corrosive, all our signs are furnished the same way. We've done most of the signs in the park. Everything's engineered, sealed. Backs of the signs are finished, so we're not just a universal theme park front only. The old West Town, the backs are finished, they're painted, everything's clean, everything's neat. Landscaping will remain in place. And at that point, I think rather than continue to prattle on too long, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Eric would be happy to answer any questions.
What is the variance you're looking for here, as far as size goes?
It's total area of signage. I don't have the exact calcs with me.
It's on there, but yeah, each drawing has the details. Bill, you might be able to
Each
speak.
each sign is that they have. Each sign, there's 5 of them or 6 of them actually, but each sign is all about square footage of the signs. And when council updated the for the master site plan for the office park and you adopted the new business park zoning ordinance, what we didn't do at that time is sign ordinance. So our sign ordinance is kind of old, and now
Big?
So 40 square feet is permitted.
So not a lot. For
So 40 is permitted, and what is your suggestion?
These are the business campus entrances, so there's 3 of them. They're significant. That's 195 square feet total. The smaller elements are up here, Matt.
40 and 84, and 40 and 73 are the 2 Trailblazer signs.
What is staff's thoughts on this?
Well, we would be neutral. It is something that is a change and different to our office park. But so that's what we've been trying to do with our master site plan, is to try to create a new character, a new atmosphere, a new feel of the office park. The street lamps are coming. They're going to be brand new. The sidewalks and trails that we're doing. So I know Workspace is trying to get these done before. Most of the companies in the office park have said that they are returning between July and September that aren't back already. So they're trying to get these signs done to give it a new feel, a new character as the employees and companies come back to the office park. And I think it does that. I think we need to give it that new look, that new feel, that new character. Lifestyle campus. You can work here, you can live here. Hopefully in the future, when we get our public square done, you can even play there. But even before that's done, you have the power line trail that goes through the office park, connects to the rest of the power line trail into Lucan's Park. The outdoor gym that we just built this year off Drescher Road. So it's giving the office park new life. Yes.
I think so. I think given the situation of, what we're coming through with the pandemic and all that, I think, it is a great idea to try to advertise your business park again, try to bring people in. I think it's significant, but I don't think.
Electronic, or are they still just photos?
Just photos, yeah.
I think I'm okay with it. I love the idea of the Horsham Lifestyle Campus. No, I'm sorry, it says Pennsylvania Lifestyle. I'll throw that in there. No, I think it's a great idea, and myself, I'm fine with it. I don't know, everybody else is.
So Mary, there's nothing digital about these signs, correct?
No.
Nothing digital proposed?
Not in the application.
Is there anything we can place as a condition to assure that they won't be digital, transformed into digital signs in the future?
The ordinance doesn't permit it, but you can add a condition to say,
Mary, you're-
I know. No electronic message boards or digital signs permitted.
Because I think they're beautiful signs. I love the idea. I love all of that, but they do sometimes get concerned about these digital signs popping up everywhere. And it seems to be in the world of signage, the natural evolution. So I'd like to just see some protections against that in the future if that's possible. But that's just me. I don't know how other people feel.
Well, that's not a permanent protection. It means they have to come back.
Just come back to
That's
us.
what they want.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll see us anytime
Future
soon.
reference.
That's not an issue there. It's Whitmer Road, not the Vegas Strip.
I love the concept. I think that it's a fresh, new idea. It gives a fluid presence. I love the ability to have photos that represent the diversity of our community, and I applaud that. My only question for Mary is, should we impose some conditions on what types of photos that they may be prohibited from showing? That would protect the township from something that could be potentially offensive. I'm just thinking about the worst-case scenario.
Something like new signs that are offensive to the values of the community. That's something that we could never legislate, but we could put as a condition.
Sure. We're advertising prospective tenants and our existing people in office buildings, so I don't think there'll be any issue with the subject matter on these sides. In the sake of full transparency, there is some additional zoning relief. It's not just the signs. One of them on the corner of Whitmer Road and Blair Mill Road is technically within the clear sight triangle. I've been assured by our engineers that this is not a traffic issue. It does not block any vision. It's a signalized intersection, so there's no problem. There's existing trees and existing signage there that's far more obstructive than what we're talking about adding here.
Bill, how does that affect the intersection improvements that are going to be taking place there?
It does not.
Not interfere at all? Eric,
No.
there's no issues that you can see?
Not that I'm aware of, and because I agree, because it's a signalized intersection, I'm not concerned with it being in the clear sight triangle.
Everybody okay with this?
Yeah, maybe another condition as, maybe to consider is just that, when possible, to work with the staff on, like what Eric said earlier, that, they try to attempt, and it's not, but they try to attempt to use pictures of companies in the office park, their tenants in the office park, Horsham residents, Horsham locations, to make that community feel, instead of pictures from the internet, the best they can. And diversity on the photos, too.
Absolutely.
So the signage, some of them are showing stone. Is that already existing stone?
It is. These
Right.
new signs.
So you're not
are on
talking
top
about-
of existing walls,
Okay.
correct.
Do they all have existing stone bases?
The three Pennsylvania lifestyle campuses do. Those are two other locations that are relocated signs.
Hey, now, is everybody okay? Okay, good luck.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Okay. Next item is to authorize our financing team for the library bonds.
So at your last meeting, you had Scott Scherer, our financial advisor for our bonds from PFM here. Tonight, if you want to move forward, you're not really committing to anything until your next meeting when you approve the parameters ordinance. Tonight, you would just be approving the financing team members, which are on the screen. This is the team that we've had at least for 12 years, and some of them go back as far as when we took our bond out for the library in 2002. But this has been our team, and they've done a good job for us. Each refinancing that we've done. And so tonight is just for your consideration, this financing team, as well as if you want us to move forward with drafting the parameters ordinance for your consideration at your June 9th meeting.
Questions? If not, do we have a motion?
Move to authorize the financing team that will refinance the library bonds and proceed with same.
Second.
Been moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Do we have any additional business?
I want to report to council, our Horsham Soccer Association, they have been, I've been meeting with the president of the Horsham Soccer Association over the last few months. They are proceeding with attempting to raise funds for a turf field, artificial turf field out at Kohler Park. And they're just beginning this. So if they're able to raise the funds, and as you know, it's around $1 million for a turf field, we'll be talking with them more. But if you're familiar, here's the parking lot of the soccer fields. Here's the clubhouse. Here's the playground. So it would be the field. They would like to do the field closest to Kingswood Estate Homes. It could be a large field or two small fields. And if they have an extra money, they even have a little field off to the side here between their kick wall and the playground. And they are last Friday, they submitted a state grant to DCED with Senator Colette's and Representative Stevens' support. For the grant application is $250,000 was the maximum amount. The next grant that they're going to be applying for is a Pennsylvania DCNR grant. And they're developing a fundraising program, capital fundraising program, so to see if they can get to $1 million to construct the field. I told the president of the Soccer Association we do not have number one, we didn't have $1 million to build the field. And number two, we don't have the money, necessary money to supply a large capital donation to them for the field. But what we could do as a township is, number one, we can be an in-kind contributor. It's our land, it's our park. So that makes us an in-kind contributor there. Also, we would use our township engineer to draw up the engineering plans for them. Gilmore has done this numerous times now for turf fields, so it's not a big job for them to draw up the plans if they raise the necessary funds. And also, we could also, if there's something our Public Works Department can do prior to the turf company coming in to construct it, if, we can grade off a certain amount of soil or do something for them to lower the price of the field, that's where we can help them. So they were very appreciative of that. So they're going to see, they're just, as I said, last Friday, they just submitted their first grant application. They're now working on a second one, and then they're going to be developing a fundraising campaign that you'll see them rolling out, probably social media and other ways in town. Just wanted to update you and on that. It's nothing that's going to happen extremely fast unless they get someone to donate a lot of money very fast.
Right. It's a tall task.
Yes.
Anything else?
That was it.
Okay, so next meeting is
June 9th.
June 9th, just for everybody out there listening. We'll be listening. And this will then, once we get this back, will be on our website and our YouTube channel. When can we expect that to go up?
Thursday morning.
Thursday morning, okay, and then we'll see how we did.
Yes, it's exciting. Yes.
Do you have anything further? Mary? I have nothing. Okay, anything else in the audience? No? Okay, meeting adjourned. Have a good night, everyone.